Everybody, this is your Professor David Britt sitting in the hotel room here in Edinburgh. I would be out doing some other things. It's not because it's raining or anything today, but just quite a few topics here that I wanted to make sure that I covered. And sometimes when I get out and I'm looking around and doing the videos from outside somewhere, I forget some things. So I want to make sure that I don't forget them this week. And so we're starting Module 5, well past the midway point in your first course. And so this week we get into everyone's favorite topic, APA formatting. Oh boy, right? We do talk a little bit, though, from the textbook perspective on arguing. And so what you're going to be doing this week on your readings in your textbook will be Chapter 10. We'll be talking about arguing. And I just want to make sure you understand this. Arguing today means something totally different than it means in the research world, in the paper world. Arguing today, I think, means more from a political perspective. I don't agree with you, and you don't agree with me, and so therefore let's go at it. That's not the case, and that's not what I'm talking about when we talk about arguing. We're talking about presenting your case, and it's more from a legal perspective. So you think about a lawyer presenting their case. And so think about that as you read your chapter this week, and your paper is your case, right? And so it gives you some effective techniques on how to present your arguments. So make sure you take a look at those. Then in the APA manual this week, you're going to have Chapter 6 that talks about crediting your sources being citations. Very important that you read those. And then in Chapter 7, it talks about referencing and gives you some referencing examples. Now, make sure you hear this. One of the things that I've done this week is I've placed some additional sources, some additional videos that I've used in prior classes in the announcements section. And so there'll be some links to some screenshot type things, some screencast videos that I've done in the past where you'll follow my mouse along on some of the most commonly biggest issues, if you will, in APA formatting. So make sure that you take a look at those. Make sure that you're very careful in reading Chapters 6 and 7. I also give you some links on those announcements to different sources at the CSU Online Library, and also through Purdue OWL, who's sort of the foremost experts, if you will, on APA formatting. So make sure that you do that. Also give you a link this week to some work on citations from the CSU Online Library. You should have the sample APA paper that you'll be able to look at the references section, look at how I've given citations throughout the paper, and then an APA citation help sheet I've included as well. This week the discussion talks about the different pros and cons of starting graduate studies. And so what I'm trying to get you to do on this one is use your own experience to argue your point. And again, argue doesn't mean get into a verbal fist fight, if you will, with someone who does things differently than you do, but just to present your case. And so make sure that you do that. It should be interesting to see why some of you have jumped into this and using arguing as the example. And then the short answer this week talks about this argument culture and how might these types of things help you shape your paper. So if you haven't noticed by now, I'm using the short answer part of your coursework to help you frame up your paper, to help you add greater clarity to your paper, to help you, in this instance, argue your points much better. And so that's the connection between the short answers and the papers. So this week, again, you're going to talk about the argument culture and how perhaps using some of the techniques that they've taught you can help you with your papers. And then the assignment this week talks a little bit about arguments to make sure that you're clearly making your argument. But then the major focus this week that I will be looking for in your paper will be how you are using APA. And so I'm going to be very critical on these. So make sure that you read the citations, make sure that you read the reference materials, and then go back into your paper and begin to make sure that you've formatted those properly. The interesting thing about APA is in this degree program, there are going to be 2 or 3 different ways that you're going to be looking at things. You're either going to be getting something from a journal or you're going to be getting something from a book for the most part. And if you learn how to format those, you're going to save yourself a lot of time, energy, heartache, and headache as you go through. So don't fight it. Make sure that you continue to do it as you go forward. And then the test this week will give you 5 questions, I believe, on citations. So make sure that you focus specifically on those. All right, hope to have some fun locations here over the next couple of days. I'll get those out to you. Actually, glad to hear that the majority of the hurricane did not mess with Charleston. So I'm sure you got a little rain. The challenge is going to be everyone driving back, right? Again, appreciate those things. If you have any questions or concerns or comments, make sure you bounce me an email, and I will get back to you post haste. Take care. Have a great week.